How's it going, everybody? So in this video, we're going to be talking about healthy self-esteem, how to develop it, understanding what even is it, talking about the misconceptions of it, and really understanding it on a deep level, okay? So first of all, people have always told me that they think they wonder about my confidence, and they say I come off as very confident or have a high self-esteem or what have you. People have always told me that, and especially over the last 4 years as I've kind of really found, I guess, my place in the world and found more and more who I am and delve deeper into what is actually important to me, right? And then focusing more on what I want in life or focusing more on what's important to me. The more and more I focus on what's important to me, what matters to me in life, what I find valuable in life, what I really want to develop in life, the more other people seem to perceive me as confident or whatever. And that's just something that comes up all the time. People always tell me that. And so, for me, I've always found myself thinking about, well, what the hell does that even mean, right? And I think it's interesting because I see so many people around me who talk about lacking confidence or lacking, really lacking a sense of self-worth is what it is, because confidence is not the same thing. And I go to Barnes & Noble or a bookstore, and I look at the self-help section or whatever, and it's flooded with books on how to become confident or how to develop a sense of self-worth or how to love yourself or self-love. And I see these damn buzzwords everywhere. And what I found is most people have no fucking clue how to develop it. And so let's kind of talk about it. The first thing is self-esteem is not the same thing as confidence, okay? Self-esteem can be used, the word can be used interchangeably with sense of self-worth or self-love. It's really the same fucking thing. It's just that there's so many gimmicks out there and people trying to sell you books and people just trying to act like they know what the fuck they're talking about when they really don't, that it can create a lot of confusion. But confidence in many areas of life, but not all, can come from having a deep sense of self-worth or self-esteem or self-value or self-love. Confidence doesn't always come from that, but it can. Okay, self-esteem is basically your own perceived value of yourself. It's an intrinsic sense of value is what self-esteem is. Okay. Self-love, self-value, self-esteem, whatever the fuck you call it, it's all the same fucking thing. You have a natural, non-efforted, deep sense of value and appreciation for oneself. That's what it is, okay? Now, the problem is a lot of people are very insecure because they're lacking a clear direction on how to find self-value and how to find values in the external world and what they value. A lot of people are so focused on getting validation from other people that they completely ignore seeking, are these careers, experiences, circumstances, are these people in my life, are they in alignment with what I want? Instead, people are always trying to succumb to what everyone else wants or everything else wants, other people want. People are always seeking validation for others, from others, seeking validation from their external circumstances, external world, external people and whatnot, external sources. They're seeking validation from the external rather than navigating the world and asking themselves, how do these external things, how do these people fit into what I want out of life? How does this career fit into what do I want out of life? People instead are looking at how can I fit myself into what other people want so that I can get validation from them. And that's an important dynamic to understand. Because that's really, if you understand this dynamic, you understand the difference between people who are insecure or narcissistic, which narcissistic behavior, real narcissism is literally just, it's pretending to be confident or pretending to have high value, when in reality you're still seeking for validation from the outside and not generating it from within. And also, people who are narcissistic have no respect for other people. They have no empathy or understanding of other people. And that makes it a very unhealthy thing to do. This whole fake it till you make it shit, you're skipping the foundational step that would take care of everything, which is just finding what matters to you in life and in the world and then aligning yourself with it. You cannot fake self-esteem or value. Faking it till you make it is still seeking validation from the external world. It's trying to make the external world change by being fake. And the key you have to understand is self-esteem and self-worth and self-value comes from finding the things that make you happy in life. Finding the things that you really enjoy, that you love, that you're interested in. Finding the things that make you vibe at a high level. That you're really interested in, that you're passionate about, that you just can't shut the fuck up about, right? That makes you feel fulfilled on the deep level. Finding fulfillment intrinsically that's not dependent on other people. And then from there, developing your own sense of value or sense of what's valuable to you from there, okay? And this is part of it. This is one half, is actually finding what's valuable to you, okay? And then aligning yourself with it. Somebody who has high self-esteem doesn't have to pretend. They're like, either you make me happy being around you, or you don't. If you're somebody who I don't vibe with, it's nothing personal. We're just not compatible. And there's no hostility around there. It's like, yeah, you could do what you want. Different people are going to have different levels of compatibility with you. And there's two sides of this. There's the narcissistic side where people are just like, if you don't vibe with me, then fuck you. I'm the best, I'm the shit, and if you don't like me, then something's wrong with you. That's false, that's hostile, that's narcissism, that's insecure. That is not self-esteem. Self-esteem is like, man, I love myself so much that I don't care whether you vibe with me or not, and if you don't vibe with me, I still hope that you have, that you have a good time in life, you know what I mean? It's okay. Whereas narcissism's like, fuck you if you don't vibe with me, okay? So, yeah, there's an element of respect for other people's own value. Because basically, not vibing with someone else is a incompatibility of values, okay? And this is true in business, too. If you work, like, for example, as a health practitioner, you're a doctor or something. Some people are going to value, mainstream medicine and drugs and stuff. And maybe if you're a practitioner that values the same kind of medical treatment, y'all are going to be compatible. But let's say someone who believes in, like, that raw veganism is the best diet ever, and that as long as they're, like, raw vegan, they don't need medical treatment or whatever, and then they go to a doctor who's, like, meat-based or something and believes in pharmaceuticals. Could you imagine, like, there's no possible way that patient is going to be able to stay with the doctor because they have completely different perceptions and perspectives on life. And either they're going to be really hostile and it's going to blow up in their faces really fast, or else one person's going to need to make a compromise, okay? And in this scenario, it could be two things. It could be either the person is open-minded and is doubting whether their philosophy works, or else they are insecure and, like, maybe the doctor needs money, so they're allowing themselves to yield to the patient, the raw vegan's ideology in order to get themselves money because they feel insecure about getting patients by being authentic, basically. Hopefully this makes sense to y'all. Either you're compatible or you're not with other people, and also relationships and career choices and other things, and even YouTube. Here's another example. For me, let's say that I'm really attached to getting a shit ton of subscribers, right? And my subscriber number really matters. I could compromise my values. Let's say I'm like, oh, there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with my content. I got to change myself in order to get more subscribers. On one hand of things, there's a lot of things that I could improve on, like my thumbnails, putting timestamps, doing better editing in my videos and stuff. And that's a fact. And it's not really compromising my values to admit that. I just don't have the fucking time to do so. But then on the other hand, I could be like, oh, maybe it's because I believe that, basing your diet on animal protein is the only thing. Maybe I need to be more allowing of like vegan choices and shit. Like, basically changing parts of yourself that is not really authentic just to get other people's acceptance. Like that is not full-fledged self-esteem. I wouldn't say that's insecurity all the time, but because they're it's important to be evolving and adaptable, right? Because narcissism, and I've seen this a lot. Narcissism's like, yeah, man, like I'm good at what I do. I'm like the best trainer in the world, and people might not like my philosophy because I tell it like it is and it's truthful and I don't sugarcoat it. But in reality, you might just be an asshole. Like you might be a dick, and so there needs to be a baseline level of social skills and healthy human self-development that needs to take place to avoid the narcissistic trap. Because ideally what you want is to reach a place of I'm valuable and I love who I am and I'm fulfilled in who I am and other people don't need to like it and I'm perfectly fine if other people do not like me. There's nothing, I have no ill feelings if someone dislikes me, right? Allow them to do what they want. I mean, if they're not getting results doing what they want, it is what it is. You know where to find me. But, like, it's nothing personal. I'm not fragile, where, like, if someone doesn't do the things that I tell them to do, or someone doesn't believe in my methods or my practices, or if someone doesn't, like my humor or like my, philosophical dialogue or whatever it is, then they can join someone else's party. That's kind of like a healthy self-esteem. A narcissistic self-esteem would be like, like, if you don't like my training style or whatever, like, have fun doing the foo-foo gimmick bullshit or whatever. You're never going to get results if you go that other way. Screw you, like, or what the hell's wrong with you? You don't like my humor? Well, that's because there's something wrong with you, blah, blah, blah. And I know what narcissism is and what it feels like because there are a couple years in my life where I became full-on narcissist, and that was how I viewed things. And it caused me a lot of suffering, and it caused other people suffering too. Unfortunately, a lot of people that develop these narcissistic traits never fall out of it. And one of the biggest hallmarks of narcissism is not being able to admit that you are a narcissist. So I willingly and openly love to admit that, I've had narcissistic personality traits, and I might still have some in which it would require some examining, right? But a lot of people mistake healthy self-esteem with narcissism, right? It's perfect, like 100%. If you look at yourself in the mirror and you like what you see, and you're like I do this sometimes. I actually for a long time purposely did not look in the mirror, so I couldn't be attached to what I look like because I'd rather be attached to my intrinsic energy and enthusiasm instead, because I believe that's what's important to attract people with. But there's times where I might look in the mirror and I'm like, damn, like I'm actually hot as fuck. What the hell? Like legit. But people who are really insecure or who are narcissistic, believe it or not, narcissistic people will tell you, like, they'll be like, oh, someone's full of themselves or whatever, and they'll poison drip you because it hurts them on some level. Even they won't be able to admit it, but it hurts them to see you flying high. You feeling good about yourself, they got to knock you down a couple steps. You can't feel super good about yourself and get away with it. Because what does it say about them? Because the narcissistic person is it's very attached to other people and their energy. They'll leech off of other people. Narcissistic people are really insecure on deep down inside, and if they see someone else who feels good, they have to constantly poison drip them, cut down their, make them doubt their philosophy, make them feel bad about themselves, and they'll do it in weird ways, manipulation, passive aggressiveness, you name it. And for me, I've dealt with this with bosses who try to gaslight me even. And for me, I literally, because I'm like, okay, I'm logical. I'm not going to sacrifice my job or my reputation by manipulating them back or stooping down their level. A lot of people, a lot of insecure people, unfortunately, when they're seeking the path to fulfillment in life and they're seeking the path to self-value, self-worth, self-fulfillment, they'll read manipulation stuff like Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power, and The Art of Seduction in his books. And then it just takes them farther off the path and doesn't teach them anything real. The way that you fucking get out of that scarcity is what it is. You're not getting the validation that you crave and that you feel like you need. And so either you try really hard to like fake it till you make it and look like you're better than you are, and then try to get other people to validate that self-image, or else you're really, really low and you're just feel depressed about yourself and whatever. And it still shows in weird ways, and you just don't get what you want in life. The best thing you can do is to stop skipping over your baseline needs that are not met. Okay. And so anyway, and by the way, what I did with that boss who was narcissistic, I just said, all right, you believe, I don't want to say specifics, but like, you believe some crazy unscientific stuff about how to get people the results that they're fucking paying for. And that's fine if you really believe that you should just let the clients do whatever the hell they want and, not give them nutrition advice and not teach them, functional movement patterns. That's fine. My certification even says otherwise, and I have to get a certification to get hired, but, whatever. The scientific evidence literally says the exact opposite of what you're saying, but it's cool. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm like, 31 years old now. Look, it's fine. If that's what gets you successful, that's cool. But like, I am not going to be like, because I have over 10 years of scientific research on the subject and experience. This other person doesn't have that much, but whatever. I know what I'm doing. So I'm like, cannot stop myself from laughing at how ridiculous what they're saying is. So anyway, I'm like, all right, I got to jump ships. I got to go somewhere else where people actually know how to train people, know how to, whatever. So I didn't compromise my values, but I also was respectful enough. And this is a hard situation because this is like what they're telling me is absolute nonsense. But like, I'm not going to even they're literally saying hostile shit to me and whatnot, and trying to poison drip me and gaslight me. And if my IQ is not 149 in the second grade, and it's probably way more now, because I was on medications at that time, actually, it dogged down my brain. If I wasn't so intelligent, I would have been just like everyone else, and I would have stopped training people and giving nutrition advice, that's in accordance with science, and instead been very ineffective, given ineffective stuff just because this person told me to, right? Anyway, it's a sense of knowing what's right, knowing what's important to you, and then doing what you believe is the best thing to do. Aligning your life with what's important to you, okay? It's important for me to give people scientific training, scientific nutrition advice that's also grounded in anecdotes and people's experiences. You know what I mean? I give people the advice that I think is going to get them to their goal, and just because they don't want to do it doesn't mean I'm not, I'm going to because they're paying me for results, damn it. Anyway, and so if they want someone who will give them some Joel Seedman training or, do some cardio bunny stuff that you could literally do by yourself, that's fine. Here's a trainer that can give you that, right? I my whole philosophy is, very, very different from what you want. So if you, even though I don't believe what you want is going to get you to your goal, if that's what you want, go somewhere else. And then if I'm in a job or a career or whatever it's like, and it's fine. I make compromises, no problem, right? But if someone's just if someone's just we're completely incompatible, I'm not doing that company a favor by staying there. They're not doing me a favor by keeping me there. So it's better off that we go our separate ways. They could find themselves an employee that is more in alignment with their values. That way there's not all this hostility and weirdness. And it's like, what is the point? Unless that person is narcissistic and they're so focused on getting you, the employee, to change that if you're like, I'm going to go somewhere else, like, no, you can't go somewhere else. You got to stay here and you got to change all of everything that you believe about how to do your job that you've been doing for 10 years. You got to change it all. And it's like, fit into my box. It's like, nah, I can't. I have my own box that people get great results in, and I want to help as many people with this box as I can. You can stay in your fucking box, right? I'm going to someone else's box, damn it. Someone else's box where we could box together, vibe together, and become badass together. Anyway, that's called setting boundaries. And that's very important to understand. So compatibility, that's the name of the game. Finding what matters to you, what's valuable to you. And then, assessing friends, relationships, girlfriends, business partners, and even clients, right? Through that lens of how compatible are they for me. They don't have to be 100% compatible, but they need to have the most important things marked off to enough of a degree to work. And that's how you eliminate, feeling like your job is sucking the life out of you, having a relationship that's sucking the life out of you. That's how you really gain energy from things. Is you find out what matters to you, man. What makes you light up? What fulfills you? What are some things that are very important for you at a deep intrinsic level that gives you that makes the other things on the outside valuable to you? If somebody is demonstrating behaviors to you that is not valuable, not only does it not provide value for you, it doesn't feed into what's important to you, but it takes away from it, where it's like that person is just harming me now. They're leeching off of me to such a degree and they're not giving anything in return. It gets to a point where you have to let that person go to make space for someone who actually does fulfill you deeper. And when you live your life from this kind of perspective, relationships, dating and getting girls and stuff like that. I mean, it's not even getting girls. It's like everything becomes how in alignment are these people with who I am and with what I want. And then having respect for other people that don't vibe that way, right? It's not just like, people might mistake this for, oh, that sounds selfish or self-centered. It's like, no, actually, it's the most selfless thing you can do. Because if that person is not giving you the things that you want out of a friendship, out of a human, out of interactions and whatnot, chances are you're not giving them what they want either. And all y'all are doing is wasting each other's limited time on this planet, limited energy, and no one should have enough time to waste on shit like that. So, but the thing is, people who don't know what the fuck they want in life, who don't know what makes them feel good or feel fulfilled, or what doesn't, people don't understand their core values, what this is. It's very easy for them to cling on to people that just don't make any sense to be in their life, okay? So there's that. And in business, this applies too. People want to pay for things that they perceive as valuable, things that they feel like they need or that's important to them or that they can be of use. And so you don't have to try to provide value to everyone. This is a problem. If you're trying to be compatible with everyone you see, okay? And when I was younger and I was playing the field, and I try to, get as many different girls as I possibly could just because they were hot or attractive. Some people, they mistakenly assume, oh, it's unhealthy because all you're trying to do is have sex or whatever it might be. But the real unhealthy thing is you're so attached to getting other people that may not be compatible just because they look good, right? That you're just like letting who you are go all the time. You're like, oh, trying to obtain the external thing that doesn't vibe with you intrinsically. It can drive people fucking crazy. And so this is why, and I'm just going to say this, okay? This is not who I am these days, but let me just say this. This is why there's that phrase, pimping ain't easy, okay? This is why, is because it's not based on natural, authentic connections. It's based on, having girls that are really good looking and really hot or whatever. And all that matters is how attractive they are. Of course, I've never stooped that low, I guess. There's always some kind of connection, and we go and we eat and we have fun, and we're great friends at the same time. Anyway, my point is what really matters is that intrinsic compatibility, right? And it's really hard to maintain friendships, business partnerships, and other things that don't authentically and naturally vibe together. And I found everything in my life starts to come into fruition. Like everything, you get everything you need in life and more, and everything you want when you start to find out what the fuck do I want in life first. I want, friends that, have positive vibes. We joke around. We laugh about stupid shit. We could also talk about serious things in life. What are the conversations I want to have with people? The type of vibes I like in my life, the type of conversations, type of subjects I like to talk about. What are the environments I like to be in? Obviously, I like to be in jiu-jitsu tournaments and jiu-jitsu mats and martial arts and strength and conditioning and exercise, and nutrition science, and then aligning all of your life with that. And what's going to happen is because you're not compromising your values for other people. You're not like, oh, yeah, I like country music. Haha, let's go and watch a country. You're dating a girl and she only likes country. And like you go out on a first date to some country concert because that's what she likes. You're not going to have fun. And it's like, I would be surprised if you actually were able to kiss that girl on a date, but I've had it happen. But it's like, where the fuck are you going? What is the end result that you're trying to achieve with that? You're trying really, really hard to develop a relationship with someone who you're not compatible with. Why? Because what? You're lonely? Because you really, really need a relationship? That's the complete opposite of what someone would do who knows who the fuck they are and is seeking real fulfillment in life. Fulfilling relationships don't come from compromising those kind of values and things. You can get a decent relationship. You can make it work. But when you're compatible and you're relating on this level, it doesn't really matter. And furthermore, just because, let's say, for example, for me, clearly, I'm super intelligent, I would say, tooting my own horn. And then insecure people say, oh, that's narcissistic. No, I'm just acknowledging a fact. People get really insecure and I talk about, oh, my IQ in the second grade. It's like, bruh, it's a fucking fact and it's important. And I could explain to you why. But when dating and relationships and having friends, right? What am I going to do? Just always flex my IQ to people? No. You don't fucking need everyone to be on the same level as you. And it doesn't matter what it is. Let's say you're really into fitness and exercise, right? And you have a girl who is compatible, like you vibe really well, y'all have great dates and stuff, and you can joke around and stuff. But let's say that this girl doesn't have washboard abs. She's not in really great shape. She's not fat or unhealthy, but she's interested in nutrition and she's really inspired by your own lifting videos and shit like that. You can help that girl get to the level that you would prefer her to be, provided it's something that she wants to do, obviously. Now, if that girl has no intention of getting in the kind of athleticism that you would prefer your partner to be, then that might become a problem later on. And you don't want to force your girlfriend or force your boyfriend or whatever, force somebody to try to obtain an ideal that you want them to do just because you want it. They have to be truly and naturally and authentically want to get to that level. They have to want to do that, right? But Anyway, all I'm trying to say is they don't have to be as intelligent as you. They don't have to be on your level as far as intelligence. Something I learned the hard way. Back, I had a great fucking relationship for like 4 years, and it was great. But I was always like wanting her to be like, having really, be really intelligent and have these philosophical conversations. These days I realize, man, like I've dated intelligent girls, and we've had like conversations about deeper, more serious life topics, and it's like not really as entertaining as I thought it would be, or it's not as important as I thought it would be. So just because you're really smart, it doesn't mean you need the girl to be smart too. But it's recognizing, well, what do you want? And yeah. So when you're operating from that kind of perspective, things become easier. All right, so now there's a second half to this. So the first half is, making sure other things try to, are in alignment with what you think is important and valuable. Now, the big thing about self-esteem is having your own sense of self-worth. Seeing what is valuable about you. And I think naturally you'll start to get a natural sense of self-worth when you start to think about what's important to you and, what's valuable to you and other people in your life and career and shit. Because when you start to focus on what actually matters in your life and what's valuable in your life and what's important to you, when you focus on what you actually want in your life and you align everything with that, you'll naturally start to see what makes you valuable. And people will start to point out what's valuable to you. People will recognize your values and help you see them. It's a lot easier for you to develop a natural sense of self-worth when you align your life with what you want and what's important to you. But the one thing you never want to do is try to fake it till you make it, okay? Because you're missing all of the most important, like the most fun and fulfilling, and all the things that make life awesome come from finding that authentic spark in the different areas of your life and what really gets you going, what really makes you feel passionate and in love with life. And then from there, those people will help you see what matters to you. So anyway, self-worth. So first of all, developing good social skills is important. And finding a career that you can provide value in. And so here's an example. So for me, over the course of my life, so in the last 10, 11 years, what was really important to me was nutrition, science, and finding the facts. I had all these health problems I was really concerned about. And before, I used to get my sense of self-worth, my sense of value, from being in a band and being a musician. And everyone was validating the self-image of me being this famous vocalist. But the problem is that was a narcissistic thing. It was a fleeting external thing. The self-image is what gave me value. And everyone, who would tell me, "Oh, you're a badass vocalist and you're such an awesome vocalist," and all this crap. And I got all these girls. All these girls loved me because I was a vocalist and the front man of the band, right? I was a lead singer of a band and, touring and shit. And I always get first dibs, whatever. So it's really easy for me to feel good about who I am, right? The problem is when I realized, I got tired of dealing with the band shit and all the politics involved and whatever else. And I stopped with the music shit. Then my whole sense of self-worth went in the shitter. And it's I still had all the same friends that really enjoyed hanging out with me. I didn't realize the reason why they liked hanging out with me is because the side effects of self-worth is you become more comfortable and you're able to joke and whatever else. And people like the ease that you have, right? And the comfort, they like the authenticity. But then when I lost what was giving me value as a person, and I was I'm totally not valuable now because I'm not the lead singer of a band. No one cares about me now because I'm not important anymore. Then all of my friends started to be like, "What the hell's wrong with him?" Because I had all this anxiety and social anxiety, and I was asking everyone else if I'm crazy and all this shit, and it went south really fast. It went south, and then The thing is, it took me about 2, maybe 3 years to start to, I was trying to figure out what was wrong with me, what was going on with my health problems, and I studied the fuck out of nutrition every fucking day, and then I developed a really good understanding of nutrition science and stuff. I started making YouTube videos, and then all of my friends knew me as like Wolfgang, the guy who knows all the science about training and exercise and nutrition and health and preventing diseases and shit. So everyone would always ask me questions, and now suddenly, provided you don't go narcissistic, right, you have value to provide to people, okay? Now, the value I had to provide to people when I was a vocalist was inspiration. Everyone was actually really inspired by my performances and how cool my pictures were, and my vocals were really cool, and it gave aspiring vocalists something to look up to, right? That's kind of thing, like a lot of people look up to Kobe Bryant and these people because they have, they're so inspiring and stuff. But then they also have value as far as what they learn along the way, their philosophy, their approach to success, their training ethic, and their mindset. And they share these through videos, and these have millions of views, motivational videos, all that stuff. Their value to the world is aspiring others and inspiring others to reach their goals and shit, and motivating other people. And entertainment. People pay a shit ton of money to watch basketball, the same way people paid a bunch of money to watch my live shows and pay for our merchandise and stuff. So, and I don't want to talk too much about other reasons why, like, musicians get, validation and people find value in it. But, yeah, so anyway, part of my value is educating people. I have so much valuable information that works. My insights are, they're no bullshit. I'm not selling y'all supplements. And I'm debunking a lot of bullshit that people use to try to sell supplements. People want to hear authentic, to the point, no bullshit, no script, no fucking script, y'all. I'm not reading off a script. People want to hear this type of information. And that's the thing as a YouTube channel, and I have a lot of clients too, and I've asked myself the question, would I be more successful if I gave people mainstream nutrition advice that everyone else is giving, and gave people the mainstream training that everyone else gets, right? And in my health consulting, if I play, because people have a certain expectation, right? They're expecting to hear the standard mainstream advice and stuff, and professionalism, and what they believe is it's probably going to be the right shit, right? Like, let's say personal training. Most people expect, if it fits your macros, calorie counting, eat a lot of vegetables and shit. They don't expect me, someone like me, who I don't, and for me, I try to adapt to a certain degree to some people, depending on who they are, and then slowly integrate the real shit over time, because some people just can't handle that at first. But people don't expect me to be like, hey, base your diet on whole animal protein first. Don't even worry about calories at first. You need to prioritize protein, and from a micronutrient standpoint, whole animal protein, because that'll give you all the vitamins and minerals you need, so you don't need to worry about nutrient deficiencies, man, because health is more important than your weight first. But your weight will also come off. You'll lose body fat as well if you do this. So it's a double whammy. Your health improves because your nutrition status improves, and your weight improves because high protein increases the thermic effect of feeding, which by a side effect makes you burn more fat, and also feeds your muscles and this and that, and makes you feel more satiated, so you don't have to eat extra calories. So anyway, people don't expect me to be like, yeah, eat 2 pounds of meat first, and then try to eat mostly lean meat and only eat added carbohydrates that you need around your workout times. No. People are like, they're expecting me to tell them, eat mostly vegetables and prioritize vegetables first, cut down on animal protein and eat, mostly plant protein first, eat a bunch of protein powders and take these supplements and track calories religiously and this and that. Fact is, that shit does not fucking work for the average people. They don't want their whole life to be about nutrition. So you got to have basic guidelines that are effective but also easy to follow. But anyway, what am I going to do? Like, try to give them the mainstream shit that doesn't fucking work? No. I'm going to give them what I believe is right, but adapt it to them and have empathy and understanding for their situation. Because some people, they don't have the appetite for that much meat, right? And so you got to slowly guide them, right? So that's where having respect for other people and empathy for other people comes into play, but not compromising your values. You still need to let them know, hey, let's ease you into this, but just know that the more in alignment your behaviors and your actions are with this protocol, the higher the degree of the success and results you're going to see at the end, right? But it's okay. Let's ease into it and do what we can in the short term, right? Do as best as we can for now. Anyway, the thing is, it's an illusion. Adapting yourself, changing yourself in inauthentic ways that go against your values to try to obtain validation from other people or obtain friends or relationships or whatever, it's an illusion. Because in the end, you're never going to be fulfilled. You're completely ignoring the most important thing about fulfillment, which is, whatever. But anyway, part of the thing that makes you valuable as a human being is being different from other people. So this is another thing. A lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm so weird and you're not going to like me and shit like that. And for me, when especially like with girls, because, they're always scared of like what guys are going to think of them or whatever. And they'll be like, oh, no, I'm so scared you're going to think I'm weird or whatever. And it's like, I hope you're fucking weird, because all that means is you're not boring, right? Because like most girls who identify as like really weird and this and that, like they're almost always the coolest and cutest thing. Unless they just purposely act weird to try to get attention. Then it's like, girl, like chill the fuck out. But what was I going to say? It's an illusion. Being normal is an illusion. To me, when people are, they think that there's something like normal, there's such thing as normal, what I think of is you're just so boring because you've kind of trained out all the interesting parts of you that make you unique. And it's like you're just kind of like, a boring personality, to put it lightly. And it doesn't sell. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you see these crazy motherfuckers like on the internet that do crazy fucking things or have crazy personalities, and actually that are so far outside the mainstream, and they tend to be the most successful. Look at Liver King, right? And I don't like Liver King. I feel like he makes ancestral nutrition look bad, or paleo nutrition look bad, or carnivore look bad. But he's really out there, clearly on steroids, talking all this crazy shit, and it worked. And he got over millions of followers in like 2 years of doing that shit, even though he was completely fake. And now look what happened to him, right? He talks about getting on steroids and all this shit because he thought that that's what he had to do. And it's like, even what seems like success in the short term doesn't always turn out to be that in the long term. He's getting sued for like $25 million now. Not that that's really, because he's still made way more per year than that. Like 4 times more. But anyway, so yeah. Finding what makes you valuable. Like, when I go out on dates, like I know I'm one of the most entertaining people that a girl's going to meet. Or when I train, and also there's so much shit that girls can learn from me, provided they're actually interested in it. And also, like, a sense of self-worth and value. Like, what else is valuable about me? Well, if, like, as far as, like, dates and relationships, if a girl becomes my girlfriend, they have the kind of, social proof or whatever of being with a competitive athlete, someone who has a lot of goals and shit like that and is very driven. I have shit going on in my life. And so they're never going to feel like they're with a loser. And that's my own perception and my own kind of value systems, you know what I mean? Just because you're not doing the shit that I'm doing doesn't mean you're a loser. But I'm just saying, like, so I know that I have unique value that they can't really get from a lot of guys, right? So I'm not really worried, like, if the girl doesn't want to be with me. I take a girl on the date that I think we could both enjoy, but that I'm comfortable with, right? I don't take a girl out to a fancy date, because what the fuck is the point of that? I'm trying to get to know the girl. I want to see if she's compatible with me, and I want to see if, if she's if she's just going to take my value for granted, and vice versa. I want to see, is there some value that she can offer me as far as like a human being? Like, are we going to vibe? Are we compatible? Is she, uniquely entertaining and has something different about her? If she's just really good looking, it's like, oh, that's cool and all, but it doesn't really spark me, because, there's so many really attractive girls in the world, but there's not a lot of girls who have this kind of like weird quirkiness about them that I like. But, and then, that like death metal and all the other shit I like. But anyway, so what was I saying? Identifying the unique things that you can offer people that they can't get anywhere else is key. People come to my YouTube channel because they expect just me to vent my fucking thoughts and go crazy, and I'm not sugarcoating shit. And I've had periods in my YouTube channel where I just I held back a lot, and I wouldn't post every video I recorded because I was scared that people weren't going to like it. But the thing that I constantly remember is, that I remind myself of is, that's okay. I don't give a fuck. I'm not even trying to be famous on YouTube anymore, honestly, but I want to attract subscribers that care about what I care about. We vibe on the same frequency. And that's what it's all about. And I'm giving y'all, value that I believe is valuable. Anyway, that you all vibe with too. Whatever. All right, so I think I talked enough, and I have a client that I need to address here in about 10 minutes. So hopefully this has made sense, and I'll talk to y'all next time.